So I'm used to having more time to be able to explore my cartoons and kind of go into everything, but since I only have about 15 seconds per slide, this is going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I'm a syndicated cartoonist. I draw cartoons across the country, and I draw local cartoons for the Dover Post papers. So here's a national cartoon I've drawn recently about BP. I have a BP security guy choking a press agent and an executive in the background saying, "Finally, a leak we know how to stop." Since they haven't exactly fixed the leak yet, and it's been, I think, 3 months or so. Here we have Conan O'Brien at the Fox News studio after he lost his job, talking to an executive saying, "Sorry, man, we'd love to be in the Conan O'Brien business, but we've already found our comedy slot." And then we have Sarah Palin saying, "You betcha." Here we have Obama. He's not exactly a fan of gay marriage. "Mr. President, critics claim you didn't lift a finger to help promote marriage equality." And he extends his middle finger and says, "As you can see, they're wrong." I like to hit both sides. And here we have Obama again, pulling down the shorts of someone who is on his team with an open government jersey saying, "What are you doing? We're on the same team." Because Obama, unfortunately, hasn't distinguished himself any different than the previous administration in terms of the openness of his government. Here we have Tiger Woods walking, and following him are sheep that are golf journalists welcoming him back. And we have a journalist kind of obscured saying, "What about the steroids? What about the HGH? Any of that?" I wish Markel was here because I actually have a positive cartoon about him. You have the GM plant closing, you have the Chrysler plant, you have the Valero, and somehow they've been able to overcome all this stuff. So this is kind of a soft cartoon about our governor, and here's a little more of a punch. He wasn't as successful getting sports betting in the state, and here he is begging a taxpayer, "Come on, fork over more money. It's really going to pay off. I've got a feeling." Obviously, that feeling was the wrong feeling. Here's one I did recently about the cell phone ban. They banned cell phones in driving. See, I don't even have to narrate. I can just stand here, That's pretty cool. So Ruth Ann Minter's official portrait was released a couple weeks ago, so I miss drawing her. She's such a gem to draw. And here we have Ruth Ann paying a visit to John Carney, trying to maybe help him out in his campaign. Haven't heard much out of John recently. I wonder if he's still around. I'm a fan of Kaufman. I mean, a lot of the reason why he's able to support the bank reform is because he's not running for re-election, but the two people who are running for his seat seem to be less than enthusiastic picking up that baton. Chris Coons, for those of you who don't know, is the Newcastle County executive. He's running for Senate, and if you ever see him, just say, "Hey, are you still running for Senate?" I don't hear much out of him. Castle's probably my favorite Delaware politician to draw. He's distinguished as being this moderate, but, if you look at his voting record, he voted against the stimulus bill and other core agenda items, and so I kind of have him here as a sheep. And one thing he did was he opposed the stimulus bill. He voted against it, yet he showed up at all these things in Delaware that were funded by the stimulus bill. So it kind of struck me as a John Kerry type of moment. I was against the economic stimulus before I was for it. Delaware has this problem with development. We don't like to fill the places we build, but we keep building. So, Newcastle County, where I live, there's so many vacancies, and Kent County, it's coming your way. Carper's another guy I like to make fun of. He's one of these blue dog Democrats. He's for offshore drilling, but you won't hear him talk about that now. "I'm sorry, baby, but for the time being, I'm afraid we're going to have to keep our love affair a secret." He was also one of the core Democrats who voted against and pushed against Obama's public option. So here he is in the pocket of big insurance, which he gladly receives funds from. Probably their best bargain on their balance sheet. Can you believe Arlen Specter became a Democrat? I know, Republicans are just not as tolerant as us. Look, it's that Republican wannabe, Tom Carper. Hey, Tom, why not just switch parties and get it over with? And here's one that appeared today in Dover Post. I don't know how it's going to work out. Michael Vick can't fly out of the state, so it's going to, for 8 games, it's going to be lost. So that's my last slide. Thanks a lot.